folks. It is Tuesday the 17th of December, and just out doing a little drive here today. Had to work last night, or early this morning as it were. Left the house about 2 o'clock. We had about 2 inches of clipper snow this morning, and temperatures warmed up. It's about 28 out, so we're out of the deep freeze at least. Salt's working again. Roads are clean, but we got a lot of snow. But we're forecast for some rain on Friday and like 48 degrees, which there's no way it'll ever feel like it's 48 degrees out here with this much snow on the ground. I'm sure it'll be warmer, but I've got one place that I plow that's only for Saturdays, and last Saturday morning, of course, we had a snowfall. Holy shit, look at that. That's not good. A little fire action there, it looks like. Sorry, I'm easily distracted. I plow a retail place on Saturdays. It's actually for Habitat for Humanity, which, for those of you who don't know what Habitat for Humanity is, they build houses for people who can't afford or are unable to get a loan to buy a house through whatever circumstances. Usually single parent type deals or lower income families type deals. So they have this store and people can donate all kinds of materials to it, whether it's construction materials or plumbing, electrical, you name it. And it's located in an old lumber warehouse that we had in Medina, a James Lumber it used to be, and that's one of the places you've seen me plow before, but they're only open one day a week. They're only open on Saturdays, and last week, as you recall, I did a little snow plowing video, and we had, a couple inches of snow before 9 o'clock in the morning, and we plowed them all off. Well, it snowed like hell all afternoon, and we got another 3 or so inches, and then yesterday we got about an inch, and this morning we got about 2 more, and that place doesn't get any traffic in it during the week. And with the warm up and the rain in the forecast, I'll need to get over there and get that parking lot scraped off. Otherwise, I won't be able to move it come Saturday if there's anything left of it, which I'm certain there will be, because there's probably 4 or 5 inches of snow on the parking lot as of today. That then probably people have turned around and done donuts in it and everything else, just because it's not used during the week and it's a nice open parking lot. So we're gonna have to go do that. I'll probably go do it tomorrow before it gets too damn warm. I just don't want it to get to the point where I can't move it, and then we find out it doesn't melt by the weekend. They're kind of particular about getting plowed during the week, but I have to kind of make a judgment call on things like that, because I'm sure as hell not taking a loader over there to plow it for what I get to just push it with the truck. We plow it at a reduced cost anyway, kind of as a courtesy. They give us a little bit of business with the houses they build. We get to put the lawns in, of which we cut them a break, and it works out for everybody because it's tax deductible. Whatever portion is gifted, so to speak. So it's a really good working relationship. When my father was around, he was real big into it, and my mom still works every Saturday morning at the store, volunteering her time, and she's 76 years old, so she helps people find things and works the cash register and does all that kind of stuff. So it's good all around. They have a lot of volunteer people that work there, and mostly retired folks. There are some people, I don't think there's anybody my age there, and I'm on the upswing of 40. So most of them, like I say, are retired people that just really want to give back and enjoy being around the people that are there. There's a lot of really nice people there that are just really good folks. And it's a cool place. Maybe sometime I'll take you guys in there. They have so much reduced cost building material there. It is unbelievable. Light fixtures, plumbing, electrical fixtures, a lot of people donate their estates to Habitat for Humanity, so there might be furniture and electronics and stuff like that. It started out geared toward being just solely building materials. Places like Home Depot and Lowe's and other places like that donate, their I don't want to necessarily say discontinued merchandise, but overstock merchandise, especially around the end of the year with tax time coming up, because they'll have to pay property tax on stuff, and if it's not selling, a lot of times they'll donate it because it's cheaper to donate it than it is to pay the property tax on the stuff. So, but again, a lot of that has to do with discontinued or just stock that they're not going to carry anymore. So they get a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it's brand spanking new stuff too. We're not talking used stuff. So just like to take care of them real good when I can. And we're not forecast for any more snow after tonight. They said maybe an inch today and maybe 1 to 2 tonight. With the warm up and the surplus of salt that's now on the parking lots from the deep freeze that we had, it's just now starting to work real good, but those parking lots are going to be really briny, so they're probably not going to accumulate much, although I could be wrong. The storm we got the other day, they're predicting 5 to 8 inches off of, I guesstimated us to get 3 to 4, and that's about where we landed even after the cool down. The rain probably had a little bit to do with smushing that down, but yeah, so I watched a couple videos this morning. Saw a Bronco Carl 92 video. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, go check him out. He did a block heater plug and cord set for his, he's got a Dodge Ram with a Cummins in it, and he found a kit online that comes with the cord and a bracket to mount it in the bumper, so you don't have the dangly little cord hanging there that you got to tuck in behind the bumper and make sure it's not covered with snow and ice and garbage like that. So he did an install on that. That was pretty cool. I wish I would have found one of those before I put the $10 cord end on mine, but that's neither here nor there. If it ever craps out again, maybe I'll buy something like that. I do like the fact that it has a door on it like a trailer light plug receptacle does, where it has a gasket on it and it covers it up. It keeps all the snow and slush out of it. So maybe someday we'll do that. And I saw you put a nice blind on the front of the truck to keep the cold air out of the radiator. Super Duty gets warmed up pretty good. Oh, look at that. By the funeral home, see the big, well, it's kind of hard to see. There was a big bare spot in the grass back there. That was my leaf pile from this fall. They didn't get it sucked up, but they must have got the trucks out today and started sucking up leaves to finish it up. That had to be an absolute disaster. So that's good to see. But yeah, those winter fronts that cover up your grill, Super Duty doesn't get real cooled down. It cools good. I've never had the truck run hot even when towing heavy in the summer, but it warms up. Just something about this motor in general, it warms up real good. I know the 6.4s are awful for warming up. A buddy of mine bought a bunch of those to put in his fleet, and when it would be down around 20 degrees, that truck would go into a high idle that was just ridiculous, and it still wouldn't make heat. Any of them. He had like 4 of them. So the Duramax, it will not make heat in the wintertime hardly at all, unless you put the cover on it, and you can plow snow all night. Trans temperature will never hit 150 degrees. The engine temperature, if you don't have it covered up, will never hit 200. It'll never really get warm. So always good to add stuff like that when you're dealing with that. I guess you could go with the old standby cardboard, but Duramax, when you buy them new, they used to come with a winter front that was made to fit. That had little bendy tabs and snaps on it that worked really sweet. But I don't have those problems with the Super Duty. So I guess the Dodges and the Chevys are the ones with the excessive cooling issues, which is good for towing and running them in high heat applications. So, alright, well, I'm going to turn you guys loose. I got to swing into one of my places here that I take care of. I just drove by it right next door to the funeral home, and they had a vehicle in the way this morning, so I'm going to go clean up a little area there for them as a courtesy. So I will maybe catch you guys later on. See ya. Morning, guys. About 2 o'clock on Wednesday. I had to go out and do a little bit of work this morning, and I left the damn camera sitting on the counter, of course. So I came home to get that and eat my lunch, and had a bunch of errands to run. And we've got one of the GMC Yukons that belongs to the funeral home at the shop, and we're going to install another corner strobe kit like we did this spring. We did 2 Suburbans this spring, and now we're doing a 3rd one, and we're going to do a minivan here after I get that one done. Just got the kits for it the other day, and we're gonna stop and grab some diesel fuel for the torpedo heaters out there, and get the Duramax pulled outside so I can get that truck inside. So that's what's going on for today. I talked in yesterday's video, I think, about having to plow for the Habitat for Humanity store. I went and did that this morning at like 6 a.m. It was supposed to have snowed last night, and it really didn't, so I was just going out to check my properties to make sure that there hadn't been any minor snowfall that I would just go out and do a quick salt run on. And that was all good. Went and did the Habitat store, and then went and picked up the Suburban, and then of course ran around and came home and did a lunch stop, watched a couple of videos, and took about an hour nap. I was getting a migraine, so I took some headache meds, and after I had eaten lunch and laid down for a little bit, as HPR calls it, a senior's nap. I don't know that it's a senior's nap for me, but that 45 minutes did a world of good for me. Got the Excedrin kicked in, and caffeine's rolling. We're ready to go. Unfortunately, it's 2 o'clock, so I didn't plan on having this Suburban today. I really wanted it at the end of the day because I had some other stuff to do, but I ended up getting it late this morning, so I don't believe there's any rush on getting it back. I'm going to start on it here this afternoon, get my stuff together for it, and go ahead and get the shop warmed up a little bit and go from there. So I'll bring you back when I get to the shop. And we've got the Suburban inside, Yukon XL, whatever you want to call it. This will be Suburban / Yukon XL strobe install number 3. And we're going to do the same way we did the other ones. We are going to do headlights, and we're going to do marker lights, no rears, so just fronts. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these headlight assemblies out, which entails these little pins here. You swing them out like this, pull them straight up, and put you guys on the tripod before I give you guys whiplash here. Alright, we'll give that a whirl. For some reason these GMCs, you gotta wiggle them more to get them out, but disconnect your light bulbs. I'll trust that anybody can figure that out. I don't think I need to show you guys how to unplug a light. It has a weather type connector on it. Although they can be kind of tricky, especially if you don't have small hands. The headlight adjuster gets kind of in the way. screwdriver to deal with that. I don't want to break any fingernails here. I got the heat up to about 74 in the shop here after running both torpedoes for about an hour, half an hour, something like that, I don't know. Trying to break this clip. Alright. So I'll take the headlight assembly out, and what we're going to do is we are going to put in the, I think you guys can see this, this is the high beam side, the inner light. We're going to drill a hole. They say it has to be half an inch away from another light, so here's the other bulb. We'll drill it in the outside here and go from there. But I'm going to give you guys a rundown on kind of the tools that I've got here to do this job. Sorry, I keep sniffling. My nose has been running a little bit here. It's pretty cold. It's supposed to warm up to like 40 something tomorrow and 50 over the weekend. But to do this job, you'll need some sort of drill apparatus here. I use the rigid stuff. I've got a 7/8 hole saw in here. They say use a 1 inch, but usually by the time you get done drilling with a 7/8 hole saw, you end up with a 1 inch hole. I can always take a deburring tool and open it up to fit the bulb in. I've got this terminal set. It's that kind. That's about a $200 assortment of weather tight terminals, anything from ring terminals to butt connectors, bullet connectors, spade connectors. It's a nice little set, and they're all the seal type kind that heat shrink. That's a 10 gauge one there. You heat them up with the heat gun, and they've got adhesive in them when they shrink. I like that kind. You'll need some primary wire to wire it up for positive and negative. I've just grabbed a couple of quick, I think these are 20 footers. I had a little bit of black left, but I didn't have any red. So I just picked this up. And you'll need a toggle switch or some sort of on-off switch. This is a 20 amp Cole Hersey style. These are pretty good duty. I've run some pretty heavy current through those with no problems in the past. You have to put an inline fuse and or circuit breaker. I've got this kind. Sorry for the shaky cam. With a 10 amp. They call for an 8 amp, but I can't find 8 amp fuses, and I'm pretty sure 10 amp will be just fine. Or I could put a lower amp in there like a 7.5, but who knows, I could blow it. So you got to put that in line in your positive wire. Assorted crimpers and cutters here. Those are channel lock style. Those work good for this style connector, but not so good for the cheap plastic ones. This style works okay for the cheap plastic, and we've got the wire strippers on there. I've got a nicer set of wire strippers here that are spring loaded. My impact driver, a light. I'll kind of show you some of the other stuff. Here's the controller. We bought different setups this time. These are Federal Signal, and I really like these. Check this out. The whole back is encased. It's not epoxy, but it's almost like a silicone to seal all the components inside. It makes it, I would say, weather resistant, not waterproof. They still recommend that you mount it inside the vehicle and away from where it can get dripped on and away from heat. Because these two caps right here probably in this rectifier or power supply here probably generate quite a bit of heat. And I've been doing a little soul searching inside the vehicle here. I still haven't decided where the hell I want to mount it. The other ones I actually mounted. I've actually got this panel off and the dash bezel off up here. I've actually mounted them up there and zip tied them up in. I'd like to mount it with screws. And I looked at under the seat, but under the seat has a body control module and the heat duct for the rear heat for this vehicle, because we got a bourbon here, so that ain't gonna work. I thought about under the jump seat in the middle. That may still be an option, but there is a 7.5 amp fuse that's in the unit itself, and it's on the back side, so I guess no matter where I put it, it's going to be up and out of the way. You're not going to be able to change that fuse easily. And there's also a separate fuse that'll be in line tied into this battery terminal right here. Both my hot and my ground will be tied into these terminals on the battery, and I'll show you how I do that. But today we're going to go ahead and get the lights drilled, and we'll make this kind of part one, and we'll do the rest tomorrow. I didn't have time to get started on it earlier today, or I would probably already be about done. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to go grab a Sharpie, and we're going to make a mark on these where we want to put them. I'm also going to take the bulb out, so I don't risk running a chance of hitting it. So I know this camera's a little crooked here, but these are the bulbs. You want to keep your fingers off of these. If you touch them, clean them with a degreaser, because greasy fingerprints kill light bulbs when they're strobes or halogen bulbs. They've got the nice weather pack connectors on them, unlike the other style we had the amp style connectors, which I guess would be fine if you're not in the salt, but those weather pack are really where it's at. And kind of want to look at these and make an executive decision. You can see where, if the camera will focus, where the hole is for the regular light bulb, and we're going to go from the back side off to this angle to eliminate. These are pretty short bulbs, but we don't want them to contact that, so I'm just going to set this up here. And usually you mount them lower. I'm going to double check their instructions real quick and make sure that's the case, and I'll be right back with you. So I'm back, and I'll look at the instructions for these real quick. And actually, this is the controller instructions. I want the bulb instructions. Well, let's see. Their instructions say, locate a suitable mounting location for the strobe tube on the reflector housing to ensure a full flash pattern on the reflector housing lens. The mounting location should be flat and as close to the focal point as possible. Okay, so I guess that means close to the center line, not below. So we'll go ahead and do that. Just wanted to double check that. You can't drill these twice. Luckily for me, looks like we got a good spot right here. Now when you're drilling this plastic, don't force the drill bit, because these lenses do not tolerate that kind. And I actually kind of hold back on the drill so that I don't push into it. And a good sharp drill bit on your pilot bit is a good idea too. See what I mean by how it grabs pretty easy, so just kind of got to be careful with it. started there. Alright. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blowgun. Well, first of all, I guess I shouldn't say the next thing I'm going to do is put the blowgun to it. Yeah, we got a little ways to go with the size of this hole. So I'm going to take a deburring tool and open that up a little bit, and I'll be back with you in a minute. For the background noise, but I got a heater going. So we use this die grinder with a carbide bit on it to open up this hole just a little bit past that 7/8 that I drilled it, and I beveled the edge of it a little bit so that the light bulb itself will go in there easier. So when I mount this permanently, I'm going to take a little high temperature grease or dielectric and put around that hole, just so I know it's in there good and tight. Yeah, this is not going to come back out that easy, but that's okay. We know it's in there and it's sealed. So we're going to install the headlight bulb. So looking at that, you can see that that strobe unit is more than an inch away from that light bulb. So we should be good to go there. Tried to get it in as flat a spot as I could. I probably could have moved it outboard a little, but let's see how it mounts in here. With my luck, the son of a bitch won't fit. Oh no, we'll be good to go. We will be good to go. So there you go. That's what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the other headlight out. I'm going to go shut that heat off too here. So we'll go ahead and get the other light out, and we'll mark that one and drill it. Anybody who wants to know where these came from, I'm not going to put a link in the description, but they came from Mill Supply in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm sure you can get them a lot of different places. There's a lot of different manufacturers. These are Federal Signal, which is a fairly large signal corporation that makes all kinds of different lighting for emergency vehicles. This setup was advertised for plow trucks to put them, it's got a longer set of cables to reach to the back of the truck to do tail lights. So you could do headlights and tail lights. And I think this is, so far I'm pretty impressed with the design of it. I might eventually pick up a set of these for the Super Duty. But that's where they came from. They're not super expensive, but they're not cheap either. You know, you got the ones that you can get on the auction site. You guys all know what I'm talking about. And those you can get for like $100, and these are substantially more than that. I think these were on sale for like $220. But you still have to provide your own wiring for the switch and fuse holder and all that good stuff. So there's still a little bit more money involved, and depending on your application, you might be in for, I don't know. I think these trucks take me anywhere from 5 to 6 hours to do it, and that's not killing myself, but I do try and make sure all the wires are nice and tidy and I don't hack anything together. You could probably hack a set in about 2 hours or 3 hours. If you didn't hook them directly to the battery and you just sort of half-assed a switch in and didn't care about getting the firewall sealed back up where you ran your wires through and things like that, you could probably put it together pretty quick if you're, not too worried about how tidy it was. but I don't like that kind, so I take my time and got to make sure that everything's tucked away where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and drill this second hole, and then I'm going to pull the fog lights out next, which you guys can see them are down there. The YouTube finger's pointing to them there. I'll unbolt those and get them up here and get you back when it's time to do those. Alright, so I pulled out both my fog lights, and this was my passenger side one. It was actually broken. I pulled the first bolt out and I thought, what the hell? It came right out. So epoxied it back up. This elongated hole here, the piece was still there, it was just broken loose. That bumper may have been replaced at some point, or it might have got hit before they owned it, but I epoxied it back up. Just going to be careful tightening it back down. Should hold. I use this stuff. I'll show you here in 1 second. Right there, Gouging Brothers, it's West System stuff. This is a 5-minute epoxy. I usually keep this on the boat, but over the 10 years that I've had the boat, I've never used it. Never come up with an excuse, and now that it's in the shop, I'll probably need it on the boat. But mix that up 1-to-1. It's got a real fast hardener, so it only takes like 5 minutes, as it says, and this has been sitting about 45 minutes. So I've got it ready to go, and we've got these drilled out. I got to slip the bulb back in there, but I've got the dash bezel sitting here, and I mounted the switch, and I've checked for interference along the backside if the switch would hit before I drilled that hole. I remember doing one of these on the other trucks, and this worked out, and I double checked it. It's got the nice serrated bezel on the outside, and I've got the depth set with that inner nut, so I basically tightened down the outer nut just a little bit so that it doesn't have a bunch of threads showing, and then you tighten up the inner nut, and we'll put a couple ring terminals on the wires going to that at a later point here. We might call this part 1 for tonight. It's almost 6 o'clock. So right now what I'm going to focus on is getting this installed back in. I've already got the other one in. I was waiting for this epoxy to dry here, but that one's in. You can see we got our bulb in there and the plug's dangling down. And I may have to shorten these cables. They come with extra ends, probably for just this reason, even though we don't specify that. But there's a dozen ends, and each one of these cords has a 3-prong end on it that does not have the plug installed, and this happens to be the end that goes to the light. The other end is pre-installed and goes to the controller. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to whack all these ends off so that they go through the firewall grommet easier, and then I'll cut these down to length however big I want them, and go ahead and put the cables on them, or put the terminal ends on them with the weather pack connectors. I'll do that tomorrow. So that's kind of where I'm at. And after nosing around on the interior looking for a better place to mount it, I cannot mount it under the seat. I just thought about this. I'll have 4 wires that are half as big as my pinky that'll have to run down this channel, and I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to resort to the way I did the other ones. This controller's smaller, and we are going to I'll give you guys a little look-see here. Ugh. See if the camera will give us a little focus and mocus. Way up in there, you can see it's maybe, yeah, you can see it's setting up in there for now. That's far enough out of the way. I'm going to zip tie it up there so there's no chance of that falling and getting in touch with the brake pedal here. We're probably a foot away from it over there, so we should be good. And I got to knock out, I don't know if the camera will pick it up. That gray colored plug there is the grommet I'm going to knock out and bring my wires through there, and we'll zip tie everything up real nice and neat underneath the dash here. And right about here is where that switch comes out, so we'll fish the wires up there, and that'll be ready to be buttoned up. So hope you guys enjoyed this little segment. I'm going to go ahead and throw that dash bezel back in, and we'll bring you back tomorrow. Basically, the only thing left is to run the wires, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the wires, the camera's not going to focus, underneath that little black box on the right side of the screen is that grommet. And I'll bring the wires underneath this and over to here and run them underneath the fender brace and along here around the battery and out through the core support. And I'll have one plug coming out, I guess it'll be in here, this is the high beam side, and another cable going straight down to get the fog light, and then the other two will run with this hood latch release cable. And then, like the other one, I ran them up in here, zip tying them away from the AC condenser and the power steering cooler. Keep it away from that. They actually may be trans cooler. I think it's power steering cooler though. Yeah, it's power steering cooler. I don't think this truck has an auxiliary trans cooler on it. If it does, it may be somewhere else. So I'll bring the wires along here, down and around. One wire will go down this way to get to the fog light, and the other one will probably come through right here and be ready to tie into this bad boy right here, and we'll be ready to go. So without further ado, I'm going to stuff that fog lamp in down there and throw the dash bezel back in and call it a day. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Now that it's the third one that I've done, I got one more coming, so that's what I got going on. So hope you enjoyed. Rate, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later. I decided to further this video a little more. I guess I should probably leave the light on. I shortened these cables up, and it's a shielded cable. I don't know if you can see, there's a little shielding wire in there, and there's some foil. I stripped the wire back probably 2 1/4 inches, about just past my second knuckle, but we're going to put ends on this, and I figured I'd show you how to do this. They come on a little tree like that, and you break them off, and then you end up with something like this, which the camera will never want to focus on. But I'll put you on the stand here and see if I can get this thing to focus. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to crimp on these new ends. And with the weather pack connector, I think you guys can see this. You've got these little rubber booties, and there's a end that's stepped down on it, and an end that's got 3 little convoluted parts to it. The step down part faces toward this connector, and what I'm going to do is put the connector on here and just use the pliers on a stripping tool. I don't know if you guys can see those. We're going to use the plier end, and we're going to fold over. Oh, good Lord, that does not want to focus. We're going to fold over the point that the plier is pointing to. We're going to fold those over the wire, and then we're going to fold this part at the end, those tabs, over this, each one of those step down ends of that rubber. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get a whole lot of this, but we're going to try here. Trying to keep it in the shot, and I don't know how well I'm going to do. There may be a set of actual pliers that'll do this. Regular crimpers don't work so well for it. But basically, I'll start it this way, and then I'll take my my wire crimpers, and we're going to put the end. Let's see. My fingernail is pointing to the nub there. That's going to go on the side that didn't have the tabs on it, so we'll call that the bottom. Now that I've got them started most of the way over, and just kind of finish up the crimp like that. and then slide the rubber booty down and get it into that second set of prongs down here. And again, I'm just using the pliers on the get it squinched down in there. It's a little silicone booty type thing. So when you get done, you end up with something like that right there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just continue on doing this. I'll put the other two ends on. And then I'll show you how to install it into the connector. It's really not rocket science. But if you don't have a very steady hand like me, meaning I don't have a very steady hand, these little things can be a pain in the ass. Again, they may make a crimper fuse, but I don't know what it looks like, and I'm certain I don't own one. Alright, down to the last one. I have one more connection to make, but I'm not going to make you go through the agony of watching me do that. It's real hard for me to keep the wire down in the connector part while I'm crimping it, because I shake so bad when I'm trying to focus on stuff like this. Probably shouldn't drink so much coffee, but I only had, oh shit. I'll keep that one out of the bloopers. Put that thing on there. Glad I didn't finish crimping that. I have to fight that wire in there because I don't have any extras. And this old silicone boot that gets crimped on the end, that just gives it a little strain relief too. That silicone boot is what seals the water out of the backside of this, having the three little areas on it to crimp down into the plug. Okay, and here's a plug. This is what they look like when you get them. Okay, and it's got this little door that's flipped down. That door actually comes up and clips when you're done. But if you read these, A, B, and C, A is on the far right, C is on the left. A is red, B is always black, and C is white. So we'll just feed these in through the back and make sure that they're in there. You can give them a little jiggle back and forth. I suppose if you really want to, you could put some dielectric down in there, but something's not copacetic with that one. It's like it went through too far. And it still bottoms out, so we'll go ahead and lock it closed. And then go ahead and put this light back in. that's how you put those connectors together if you've never done that before. Light is back in, and all I have to do is wire up one more for that lower fog light. You can see her wire hanging down there, so I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you guys back after a bit. Pretty much it. I still have the unit laying on the floor. I got to tuck it up and away. That wire that's dangling right here, you can hook that up so you can cut off and have either fronts or rears, but since we're running them all in the front, we won't need that one. We're going to tape that up. Got the switch right there. And the camera doesn't usually pick it up, but we'll try. For some reason it just won't focus on it, but it's going, so everything's tucked away real nice. I took a sliver of the rubber out of the side terminal battery lug and put a ring terminal on my ground and my positive with the fuse and tighten those back up, all good to go. So that's it for this install. Tomorrow morning I'll tidy that up so that it's up underneath the dash and securely tied, and that's pretty much it. So we're gonna cut that off, and hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you later. That's it. Bye bye.